Welcome back to Romantasy Chaos HQ, the podcast. We are Avery and Xavier Harleston, healthcare professionals by day, romantasy theorists, and aspiring authors by night. Today, we have a special bonus episode, Romantasy Chaos Unmasked, where we're going to explore deeper themes and meaning across a body of work. But first, this is your warning. We are not rated E for everyone, and we do discuss adult topics. So proceed accordingly. Today, we're joined by a special guest, Cecy Robson. Cecy Robson is a New York Times and international best-selling author of more than 30 novels. As the first college graduate in her family, Cecy worked as a registered nurse for 23 years, as you know, close to my heart. In her free time, she creates magical worlds, heart-stopping romance, and young adult adventure. Cecy is thrilled to be the recipient of multiple awards, including the Comic Con's International Inkpot Award, which we'll hear about later, the Maggie Award, and the Award of Excellence. Her latest novel, Bloodguard, released through Red Tower Books. We just finished it last week. It was amazing, but tell us more about yourself.
Oh, I'm pretty boring. I'm a big old nerd. I love anime. I am constantly killing plants, except for like my resurrection lilies. I have 3 dogs. I love animals. I have to go for a walk, at least a 30-minute walk every day, or else I lose my mind.
Do you walk all 3 dogs when you go for your walk?
I don't walk my little one because she's 9 pounds and she's got little legs. So like exercise is just going up the steps for her.
Yeah.
And I know. And the other 2 are big. Like I have a standard poodle, and then I have a lab mix, and they're all rescues, so they have their own little like idiosyncrasies. And so no, but I walk the 2 big dogs.
Can you tell us your dog's names? And were they names that you wanted to use in your novels, but had to, like, is there a crossover there?
Well, Allie came to us with her name. We were gonna name her something else. She's mostly black, like Midnight or something like that, or like, something more. You'll understand when I tell you the other dog's names. Allie, she had been through a lot. She'd been shot. Like, I had to pick buckshot out of her ears. I mean, but she was just always Allie, and so she just came with the name, and it just stuck with her. Like, she's just so sweet. Chloe, her full name is Chloe Fukisha Watermelandria, because we're a little creative. And Chloe
Yes.
fits her. She's sweet. And we had her for a month. She was also a rescue. We got her when she was less than 3 pounds. And she was like 6 months old. And within the first month of having her, she had a liver stent, and we had to pay $8,000 to save her.
Oh my goodness.
And she, like, it was, so that's Chloe. And then our newest one, we've had him for 3 years. He was a situation with a backyard breeder, and it was horrible. But the woman had cancer, so she would leave food and water for the dogs for like 2 and leave them for 3 weeks. So they were really, so it was a standard poodle, and there were like 7 in the litter, and the county had to step in because of the situation, and they took all the dogs. And it's fun. My neighbor ended up getting one, and because it's the same rescue we got Chloe from, so as soon as they're like, I'm like, hey, I'm kind of interested. When do you want to pick them up? Like, they were really, really good, just because they know we would take care of them.
Mm-hmm.
And his name is Rocco McLovin.
I love this. Oh my goodness.
Well, we like you even more now because you're nice to dogs. So
Yeah.
that's a
Yeah.
huge tick up.
I will say, just based on reading Bloodguard, these would not be character names.
No, I don't think they would be. Rocco came close to being called Tanjiro because I'm a big Demon Slayer fan.
Oh,
And-
my.
But we sometimes like, well, he's really Rocco McLovin Tanjiro Robson.
Secret
sneak that
added
name in.
name. Yeah. Well, typically on our podcast, we have a very time constrained format. So even though today we get the freedom to talk a little more as we will, we do want to do a rapid fire get to know you series of questions. So someone is putting 180 seconds on the clock. Are you ready?
Let's go.
Okay. Fuck, marry, kill tropes.
Okay.
Which trope would you fuck? Which would you marry? Which would you kill?
Okay.
Fake dating, marriage of convenience, fated mates.
I would marry fated mates. And what was the
Fake dating and marriage of convenience.
kill marriage of convenience and fuck
Fake dating. Yeah.
dating, yeah.
I can see it. I can see it with Bloodguard. Although kind of a marriage of convenience. Okay. Force proximity, love triangle, grumpy sunshine.
Marry, kill, fuck.
Okay. Marry, force proximity, kill, love triangle, fuck, grumpy sunshine.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay.
Perfect answer. No love triangles.
Someone really hates a love triangle. Okay. Accidental pregnancy, arranged marriage, one bed.
Kill, marry, fuck.
Kill accidental pregnancy, marry arranged marriage, fuck one bed.
Yeah.
That feels right. Pretty much across the board, everyone kills accidental pregnancy. All right. Age gap, second chance romance, marriage pact.
Huh. I'm still gonna go marry, kill, fuck.
Marry age gap. Kill second chance romance and fuck marriage pact. Okay. Okay. All right. How about this one? Winston, Nick, or Schmidt?
Marry, fuck, kill.
Marry Winston. You were literally the first person who has said that they would marry Winston of everyone we've asked.
You gotta make me laugh. You gotta make me, he's a police officer. He'll protect, he'll serve. And, he's hilarious. You gotta keep me laughing.
He does. He has such a good rapport with Cecy. But okay, one quick. Would you rather write a sweet first time spicy scene or a spicy scene where things go horribly awry?
Second one. I think because I love humor, and I think when things go wrong, they can kind of be really hilarious.
Oh, there is our timer. So thank you for playing our games, and we'd love to start dig in with Bloodguard. So for our listeners, we're going to keep this portion spoiler free. We'll give spoiler warnings if we need to. And so would you give us a spoiler free summary of Bloodguard?
Okay, so Leith of Grey is an immigrant who is wanting to go to the land of milk and dreams, which is Arrow. The only way he can help his sick family is by winning the title of Bloodguard, which grants him riches and a royal title. It's not what he signed up for. He didn't realize in order to become Bloodguard, you had to win 100 battles. Sometimes you're up against your best friend. Sometimes you're up against a three-headed monster. He doesn't know that the game is rigged. So Maeve is an elven royal. She wants to become queen of Arrow. To do so, you have to marry a royal and you have to be 21. There's a lot of political manipulation going on. And pretty much everyone is either afraid to marry her or she doesn't want to marry them. So she makes this deal with Leith. I'll make you Bloodguard if you marry me. They just don't know that in order to get what they want, they're all going to have to pay with blood.
Yes, it is. Wow. So we finished reading this book last week. Um, and we were drawn to it primarily because of the gladiator component, because that's an aspect of the book that we're writing. But um, before I even started reading your book, I like to read the acknowledgments section first. I like to start at the end. I think it gives a lot of insight into an author's mindset when they're thinking about and writing their book. And so I wanted to read the first few sentences from the acknowledgments section of Bloodguard. Once upon a time, I was a poor immigrant who couldn't speak English and who found herself in a new world far away from anything remotely familiar. One day, a man knocked on my family's door. He had his teenage daughter with them and was canvassing my neighborhood to bring food to those in need on behalf of his church. My father opened the door and welcomed him in, and he and his family welcomed us into their hearts. And I still am getting goosebumps just reading it right now. I feel like that was the perfect thing to read to set the table
Yeah.
for
Thank you.
reading about Leith, who immigrated into this new country. And, he really just wants to provide for his family. That's really all he wants, is to take care of his family back home. And throughout the book, we actually meet many characters who have immigrated into Arrow, but we also learn that the borders have recently closed. So Leith's family is not going to be able to join him in Arrow, no matter how much he wins. Like even marrying the soon-to-be queen, like the borders are closed. So how would you say that your personal experiences with immigration and assimilating into the U.S. kind of informed the way you depicted Leith and the other immigrants in the book?
It definitely comes from personal experiences. Back when we immigrated, I was 4 years old when we immigrated into the country. But back then, the laws are very different. Back then, okay, someone has to sponsor you. So you show up, somebody sponsors you. My uncle sponsored my dad. He worked here for a year, proved he can be employed, and then he sponsored us and we were brought over. So I was like 4. They became citizens. We had green cards. They became citizens. I think it took them a couple of years. They had to basically, show employment, show just different degrees. They just had to meet certain things.
Mhm.
And so they applied and they got their citizenship. The way it worked back then is, if my brother and I, because we were both under 18 when they became citizens, we automatically became citizens. We just had to declare it. Now things are different. Like, so with Leith, he shows up wanting to be Bloodguard. Okay, I can fight, I can battle, it's gonna be easy. But it's not. Now it's more relevant to what occurs where people can spend up to like $20,000 and still be denied a green card, still be denied access. So just like Leith comes in thinking, okay, this is my path to get everything I want and to help and support my family, he, instead of like having that $20,000 burden, he's faced with impossible odds that many face now.
Yeah.
Throughout the book, there are references to the recruiters and people coming and saying, like, you can make a life here and become Bloodguard. And I mean, it's such a kind of classic tale, even down to the point of, like, the American tale, Five O Mouskowitz, and all the streets are paved with its cheese. But you did such a fantastic job
Oh, thank
bringing
you.
those themes in, while also building the world with a whole bunch of unique monsters. But you never allowed that tension to leave, with regard to all of the characters that were in the Bloodguard tournaments and challenges, and what was happening overall in society. Like, it was a very, very rich immigrant theme. I mean, the theme of closed borders and immigration is clearly done in Romantasy a lot, but it was so front and center in Bloodguard that it just left a mark, right?
Thank you. That's very kind. Thank you.
Did your parents read this book? I'm just curious.
Well, this is what I've been very blessed with. And my mother's It's just my mom. Prominent language is Spanish,
Mhm.
and she speaks English, but it's it's broken. It's like very similar to where we were growing up. There were a lot of Latinos, so there wasn't as it was harder to learn English, but so she can read English, but it takes her. I was so happy because this is the first novel that was translated into 12 languages, and one of them was Spanish. So I was so thrilled that I could, give my mom a book that she could read more easily. But no, she hasn't finished it yet, and yeah.
Oh my goodness.
She's
At
honest
6 of
somehow. She goes, "Yeah, just start reading," and then I
That'd be
fall
my
asleep. I'm
mom.
like, "That's great, mom."
she that feels like such a my mom would be like, "Yes, well, I'm proud of you, but mm, I'm not gonna read it." That's
Yeah.
exactly what my mom would do. Um, and
This is the first time I'm doing the script. We're generally unscripted, but so in Arrow, there's a substantial tie between power and wealth, with a big gap between those that have and those without. And the central love story crosses that, with Leaf being the poor gladiator in the Bloodguard tournaments, and Maeve being the future potential queen of Arrow. This creates tension between the characters, but that tension you echo throughout the story and throughout the characters, with the interaction between Arrow's royals and everyone else, and not all of the royals interact the same way.
Yeah.
So when you were writing this, where did you draw that from? What caused you to gravitate towards those specific?
So I think it reflects our political environment, and the current climate that's occurring. But I had written Bloodguard 2 years before it was ever published. So things just kept getting worse and worse throughout our country about different views. Um, there was an argument once online, and this woman said, "Well," something to the effect like, "Well, I just don't understand why they can't just do things like the legal way when it comes to immigration. I just don't understand." She goes, "But I'm not having this discussion." She's just like, you know, um, "I have a tanning appointment," or whatever she said. And you realize that people that have power, that have money, that have privilege, they're not necessarily bad people. They can't relate to what it's like to not be able to do something, to walk in a store and not be followed, to um, be able to give your kids the proper education. When you don't understand what it's like, you're not going to be as sympathetic. Maeve, as much as she has, and it's one of the reasons I made her a healer, because obviously I'm a big advocate for nursing, and I'm very proud of our profession, because in doing so, she's seeing these people. She's interacting with the poor. She's saying, well, this person's infected with this and this. Oh, I help this child. But she's in their environment, in their culture. She's able to see that. One of the things that Lee says when she takes him into the neighborhoods that are poor, he said, "I never knew some homes like this would exist here, because it has this reputation of being so wealthy," and it is. So it's one of those things where, like, it helps her to be around it, because when you're not around it, you don't know. I'm glad we're able to give the life that we do to our children, because if they grew up how we grew up, because we grew up really poor, I'm like, they wouldn't have survived. But it's good that they don't have to. But it's just a different mindset when you're surrounded by it, because
yeah,
it's too easy when you're not to close your eyes and not see it.
yeah. It really struck me, as you mentioned in your summary, the games are rigged,
Yeah.
not just to determine who's going to like win because they want a particular person to win or a particular person
Yeah.
not to win. What they're really rigged for ultimately is to make the most money, because there's this whole betting culture, and that is part of the gladiator games. And everything there, the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer because they have built an entire culture around these exploitive practices of people who are even their own. Like, even people who are citizens of Arrow are being exploited by the people at the very top. In addition to all of these people who are coming in as immigrants and entering, they're being recruited and they're being sold a bunch of, essentially lies about what their life would be like if they became a gladiator. And, they're being exploited, of course. And then at the end, oh my goodness, when I got to the part.
No spoilers.
Okay. When Maeve visits the post office,
the dreaded chapter 40 that I got hate mail for, is that what you mean?
Yes, and she learns what she learns at the post office.
Yeah,
my blood boiled.
Yeah, no, I mean, I got a lot of hate mail in a nice way.
Like, how
they're
could
like,
you?
and actually my editor didn't want to put that in. She wanted to delete. I said no, because Nicole, my beautiful bestie and agent, once told me when I first started writing and submitting, and she was trying to get me published, like, what was 9 years ago, 10, I don't even remember. She would put these comments and track changes, and she goes, and this really, really stuck with me from every book I've ever read. She wrote, it was a very emotional scene, and she wrote, "You have the readers by the guts. Twist them." We twisted some guts in that chapter 40, didn't we?
Yeah, you did. I walked away for a minute.
Torsion happening.
But it does set up, a very poignant part, like, that really brought home that, the fact that despite that the gladiators are being exploited, the fact that they know it's not fair, and that they know they're not living the thing that they were sold, and they're kind of stuck. They never really approached it as rigged, but
Because
it was
they
very
really
clearly
think,
rigged.
because they've been fed all this information that if you just do this, you'll succeed.
Yeah.
Which is, they signed up for this, and they're like, we have to succeed. We've made it this far. We have to keep going, even though they don't like what's happening, even though it went from just to see who was the best to now to a battle to the death. As much as it's changed, they can't stop.
Yeah.
They're stuck. This is what they have. They're working and they're trying with what they have, because that's all they have. It's a terrible position to be in, but they just have no choice.
Yeah, the goalpost keeps changing. And even if they just do everything that they're supposed to do, when the goalpost changes, the people making the rules just change the rules however they want, like literally in front of a crowd of people, like would change rules. Like, you can't, just doing what you're supposed to do is not a path to winning. Even if you're just doing what you're supposed to do and you're doing it to the best of your ability and you're even doing it better than everyone around you, it's still not going to mean that you get to, you're still up against barriers that are kind of incomprehensible to you from your position in the, gladiator arena.
Well, and the gladiators are doing the most dangerous job, right? I mean, I don't know if you want to call it a job, but they're doing the most dangerous thing. And the medicine in the world is incredible and fantastic, but they don't have any access to it, right? I mean, like they are most likely to be injured, sick, and there's this amazing medicine, and they don't have access to it.
Yeah.
And, from the medical side, you're twisting our guts every time that came up. So you're
well, especially now, people who don't have insurance. You hear other people say, well, then get a job that has insurance. Well, that's easy for you to say because you're able to do that. Not everyone is.
Exactly.
So,
like they don't have the option until they are like extraordinarily the one in, 1,000. They don't even have the option to consider getting a different job. Like
Okay.
it's really, I think it goes back to what you said earlier. It is, unless you've ever been in a position where you don't have choices, it's really difficult to conceptualize what it's like to be in that position. You just can't. It takes a tremendous imagination and a huge amount of empathy that, not everyone has been exercising their empathy muscle and making it strong. So that is, yeah. Okay. I don't know. Uh, we don't need to, I don't need to rant.
No, but it's good that you do, because you can, what you want to rant about, you saw in the book, and that's a huge compliment to me. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah, so we're gonna change gears here and get a little spoilery.
Okay.
But I think it's really apparent that there's awesome creatures from the get-go. But all right, 2 words, vampire cult. Please explain. Because
Okay.
comma, that's all we
So the first fight, and actually that's what got me the contract. I just sent the first fight scene in Bloodguard. It used to be the first chapter 1. And Nick's like, I had written it 10 years ago.
wow.
And back then Romantasy didn't exist. So I think I went to HarperCollins. I don't know, but immediately went to acquisitions, and they had to pass on it because they didn't know whether to market it as a fantasy or a romance. So they passed on it. It just needed a different time. But I have this gladiator. I have to put him in situations where he fights. He fought a dragon in the first scene. Okay, what else? Can't have him, fighting the same thing over and over again. Well, what's going to be scary? What's going to be vicious? So we have trolls, we have giants, we have fairies that are generic that I wanted to implement in this world. I couldn't implement other creatures if I wasn't part of the culture. It was cultural appropriation, because initially I had creatures from all over the world because it was about immigration. So I had like water demons from like South Africa, and but I was told, you can't do this, it's culture appropriation. So I'm like, well, I have to come up with something. And I remember this blogger, got her social. She was so sweet when I first started. She was very supportive of me, and she would review my books, and she's just really great. Her name was Marcella. She's wrote something about, because I have this been blessed and cursed with a crazy imagination. She said, I would love to spend a day in Cecy Robson's head. However, in her mind, there's probably these unicorns that are prancing all around, but they're likely carnivorous, knowing her. So, like, carnivorous unicorns, vampire cult, we got it. So that's how the vampire cult was born. I needed something different. I mean, when you're in a realm of fantasy, you're going to have dragons for the most part, or like, a giant or something, but that's typical. I'm like, well, what's going to be different? And I remembered Marcella's words about, carnivorous unicorns. Yes, why not?
Yeah, way, way more scary than the dragon.
You did such a good job building the tension because I was like, I hate this thing. I hate it so much.
Yeah, it's creepy with the tongue and yeah.
Oh, the tongue. Um, but I think probably more like distressing was the almond.
Yeah.
Like, oh, so
And they're
creepy.
probably coming back in book 3. Yeah. So the thing about the almond, again, I had to get scary, and I had to do something that, because those that are in charge in Arrow, they keep making these games harder. Because you're not supposed to win unless we want you to win. That's how it is. So I feel in a lot of ways the United States is getting like that. It's getting harder for people to get what they want to survive, be it healthcare or, good jobs or, a green card. And there are political giants that are not only making it harder for the normal populace to get what they want and need, they're making things scarier. So I needed something scarier because now that things are happening the way that they are, it's terrifying. And people are like, wait, wait, wait. I think we're getting too far. And when you're introduced to the almond, Sorrow introduces the almond, it's when things start switching for the more upper middle class that goes to
Mhm.
the games. For the first time, they're like, wait a minute, what's happening? What how are we, people are in the audience, they're normally just clapping and cheering. They're terrified. They're like, wait a minute, where is this going? So that's why I brought in the almond, because we're taking a very dark turn
Yeah.
politically. It's
Mhm.
no longer just obstacles. It's very scary. But that's what the almond came in.
Effective.
Mm.
It was effective, and your ability to create these creatures and to create that sense of like, "Ugh,"
Yeah.
um, like that to me is definitely crossing over into like not just romantasy, but like horror mantasy. I don't want to say hormantasy. That doesn't sound right.
I think that's better. I'm like, what do you write? I write romantasy. I think
my
that's
mother,
funny.
my mother would not be able to say it, like, let alone read it.
No, I
She
want my
just would
mom, there
just,
was like sex scene. She's like, well, why would you write that? I get it. I have
oh,
a lot of horror and elements in, I think, a lot of the books I've written, except maybe like my contemporary romances. But I when I first started writing my very first published book, it is sealed with curse, and I like twisted humor. And there's a scene where Celia, our hero, is in a fight, and her sister blows up this witch that they're fighting. It's on urban fantasy. And Celia's like, you know, something, maybe a kidney, hit me in the face. Like, I've always just been like, I've always just kind of been twisted like that. And there are elements in like the second book, Embrace is this one. And it's all about demons. And it's terrifying because of how they're finding corpses and everything all over the place. But I mean, I scared myself. I would be writing at night and be like, so there are aspects of it, but I think just traditionally the way horror works, I don't think even I'm that twisted. Like, there's some like really dark stuff that happens, but yeah, there's elements of horror for sure, but I don't think they necessarily get to the point where it would fall under that genre. I could be wrong, but
well, I think just being kind of in a reader space, in a bookish space, I think there's definitely people who are looking for more of that horror and taking romantasy to its next iteration, whether that's mystery or thriller or whatever, and adding those additional elements into a genre that they love so much. And
there was
so,
a book I read that was, and I know you're probably going to figure out what it is based on what I'm describing it, because, and I don't want to say this in a negative way, because I really enjoyed the book. I thought it was fantastic. But there's this scene where they're having sex and there's blood just pouring down on them. That's what I mean. Like, um, that's a horror fantasy. or
Yeah.
romantasy if you prefer. And so to me, that's like, if I'm grossed out like that, because I'm thinking, especially being a nurse, having exposed to every body fluid ever known to man, that's nasty. Like to me, that just is like, even I'll throw some kidneys, hit someone with a liver, but you know what? Now we've gone too far.
Yeah, there's nothing more quintessential clinician or nursing doctoring than the morbid sense of humor. But
Yes.
but your point on horror is so valid. Like I used to be a horror movie lover
Yeah.
until I had my trauma rotation,
Oh,
and then I
yeah.
saw Saw 3 and had to leave and literally puked because
Yeah.
it all came with like sensory overload.
It's very
Because what
visceral.
yeah,
It's,
when once you
yeah.
like see once it's like real to you, it's no longer as
No,
fun.
I know.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying, but yeah.
But
So that's why I think I don't. That's why I think I write elements of horror, but I don't think I go to
You
the
don't push
degree
it
where
all
them.
the way.
No, because
Yeah.
like when
Yeah.
they're having full out sex, and it's blood just pouring on them like rain, and I just like it. Yeah, it's just and I don't want to say too much negative about it because it's a fantastic book, but that's the part where I'm like, yeah, I don't write horror fantasy. Like I don't think I can do it.
Like, I get it. But I think like Xavier was just saying, I'm a nurse, you're a nurse, he's a physician.
Yeah,
So I want to talk a little bit about I love when there are like medical scenes, especially
yeah,
if it's coming from someone who has a medical background. And I don't really think it's a spoiler. In one of the scenes, a character has some very deep infected wounds. They have to be lanced, and this like green is just draining out of them. On top of the fact that the character was already like covered in dirt and is sitting in this bathtub, and all of this stuff is draining out, and the dirt is there. But um, the healer puts a cleansing stone in the bathtub, so it just sucks everything up and the water stays clean. And I was like, "What? This is awesome! This is genius. Why don't we have this in real
I
life?"
know, right?
Um, with your nursing background, how do you see that coming into play in your writing? Because like it was very clear to me in scenes like that, and then you were just like talking about like it might have been a kidney that hit me. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
I'm like that's something a nurse would say.
yeah. Well, it's one of the reasons I included that scene is because he is the hero and he's very sick, but you don't want you lose sexy points if you're covered with muck. I'm like, cleaning stone. Let's clean that up right away. Let's just get Nancy. Look at how good he looks. While still hanging on to the fact that this is somebody that's endured a
Yeah,
horrible life and existence in that arena, and like people are can just die based on their even if you survive, you can die based on your wounds.
yeah, yeah. I mean, and the availability or lack of availability of medicine, which is just or the availability or lack of availability of food,
Yeah,
like just mind-boggling. And in a country that has so much, that these gladiators are, the conditions they're kept in,
yeah.
are inhumane. But I did think the medical part was fun.
Oh, okay.
Do you ever get asked to like cut back on any of those like super medical
Gotten,
aspects?
I've gotten pushback with like people arguing with me when I like I had this one copy editor kind of come after me pretty strong because I was talking about an 18 gauge needle or something being larger than a 24, and they're like, no, you're going up in numbers. 24 is large. I'm like, no.
It's not the way
So
that
we
works.
went back and forth. I said, so it's like stuff like that. I'm like, you want some of that? I'm like, trust me. I say, and they're like, no, but you're going up, and I'm just like, I do this for a living. I'm like, trust me. So I've gotten pushback in that respect, but for the most part, I think they appreciate it because it does make the fantastical realistic. And And they pretty much trust me with it. They're like, well, Cecy says, like, the venous blood flow is going to be, blah, 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 we're going to leave, because now they're like, it's at their element. But I just think it makes it, you have to have rules in fantasy. You have to come from a place where you can see it happening and it's not so outrageous, because then it's, like I said, you can't bippity boppity boop and like that and get what you want. And like, well, how do we get there? We can't just wave a wand. How are we going to get there in a way that feels realistic?
Yeah. I was just editing a scene from our novel, and in this scene, a character has been in the infirmary and is getting discharged, and the healer is going over the very long list of discharge instructions. And it was turning into they were good instructions, relevant, important instructions for this character's health. And I'm like, you know what? The character is going to totally disregard all of this anyway.
Yeah.
So we could probably cut this and just be like, I tune out the healer because you're not going to follow the directions anyway.
No, I mean, they
so
don't.
Like, that's where I'm like trying to balance.
No, you get, as a healthcare professional, I'm like, okay, I guess I'll see you next week then.
Right.
Well, she's definitely not going to follow the instructions.
No, she's very
obstinate.
Yes. Pretty much. She's very much like you, because as we all know, doctors are the worst patients. But well, tell us about being invited to Comic-Con. And when you went to Comic-Con,
like the greatest moment of my life. Oh yeah, and my children made more. And my wedding day.
Afterthought, and my kids.
Yeah. So my daughter, at the time, gosh, this was 2 years ago. So my oldest was still in college, and my PR team really gets on me. They're like, Cecy, you have to post at least twice a day on social media. And I'm like, I run out of things to say. I'm like, I don't think I'm very interesting. But, I do my best. I'll do funny videos because I love humor. And my daughter sits me down. It's just like, Mom, Becca and I were talking, and we love you, but like your videos are like cringe. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. And I go upstairs and I'm checking my email. And
how old was she at this time?
I'm sorry?
How old was your daughter when she said that?
20, maybe.
Yeah, sounds right.
Yeah. So
that tracks.
So I just happened to look at my email because I was writing upstairs, not in my office. And Heather, part of the PR team at Mertown, was just like, hey, Cecy, you've been invited to Comic-Con as a guest. Would you like to come? Like, I could not type yes. I think I did it and like made the font like this big. I was so excited. And they're like, that's great. You can bring one person with you. They want to host you. Like, they're amazing. Like, they were so good to me. So I run downstairs, and my kids have never been impressed with any award, anything I've written, anything I've ever done. No, they don't care how many lives I've saved. I mean, I just don't impress my children. But
that also tracks.
It's fine.
Right.
So I come running downstairs, and it's my son and my daughter. And my son, we're all big nerds around here, but Logan and my son. Oh, by the way, I named my son after Wolverine. That's how much of a nerd I am. So I come downstairs. I'm like, I got invited to Comic-Con. Now I'm a hero, right? Now I'm cool. And they're like, okay. I'm like, Logan, we're gonna be among our people. And Lily's like, wait a minute. Why aren't I going? And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I thought I was cringe. And Logan, being who he is just like, ah! Like, cause yeah, it was fantastic. They were so good to me. They picked me up at the airport. They, drove us to our hotel. They escorted. We had a person assigned to us to take us to every location. So when we had our talks and our meetings, and we got to I got to fangirl out of all the things I seen. Logan was excited. Like, we were really into Arcane. We got pictures with the characters. I dressed up as Nezuko, and like, people were coming to me taking pictures, and like, it just not as an author, as Nezuko. And we also did Jujutsu Kaisen, and I dressed up as one of the one of the characters, and so did my son. And like, so we got to dress up, and it was just amazing. And all our talks were packed. I got to meet some more Red Tower authors, and people are just, it's just an amazing space where everybody loves what you love too. And it's just, people are very welcoming, very friendly. There's like all these opportunities to see different art and different exhibits. It's just amazing. So I go to one event, and it was just me, and I'm like, oh God, I hope people show up. And it was, I was really worried. So one of the moderator comes up to me, and my purse was a mess. And I had gone to a few presentations at that point where I was featured with other authors, and they would introduce you, and they were just really nice. So I'm cleaning out my purse, just everybody's getting settled. They're like, oh, do you mind if I say a few words? I'm like, oh, yeah, sure, go ahead, no problem. And then she proceeds to, tell me, Cecy's in New York time. And I'm just like, cause nobody cares about me. I'm just cleaning out my purse, getting my receipts together. And she's just like, oh, Cecy's, an international bestselling author. She's been involved in Fanny Fair forever. She's contributed so much to society. So I would like to present her with the Comic-Con Inkpot Award. And like, I was stunned. And it's right here.
It is so cute, by the way.
I'm sorry?
It's so cute.
It's and it's heavy. It's like a real award. And because even my husband's like, it's like a real award. I'm like, I know. And it says the Inkpot Award for Achievement in Science Fiction and Fantasy, Cecy Robson, Comic-Con International 2024. And the same year I received, like the same Comic-Con, Keanu Reeves received the same award. And I love him. He's like my favorite actor. So it was just,
a great
it
club.
was mind blowing. I was like, I was so happy. And in addition to the award, they gave me a gold pass. So any Comic-Con forever, me and my family are available to attend, like without cost. Like, I mean, obviously we'll pay for a hotel and whatever, but they're like, we wouldn't have to purchase tickets. We can just always go. We keep that in a safe, like, I mean, I was so just thrilled out of my mind, because it was always a bucket list to go to Comic-Con. Like I never thought I would be invited, much less to speak and being among people I have such tremendous respect for, and be around people that love the same things I do. I mean, it was such an incredible experience. One of the things that was really cool, I am a huge Demon Slayer fan. That's why if you're familiar with it, my son went as Inosuke and I went as Nezuko. We'd also seen Attack on Titan together. Like, I didn't like it because I didn't get it, and I thought Aaron was a bitch, but anyways, a little like I couldn't be on his side. I'm like, I was very like anti.
I totally get that.
Did you see it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like I don't get it. I'm like, we get to the end. I'm like, what was the point? I'm like, why did we do all this? Like, so I still have anger issues over that. But anyway, after the talk, I went to sit down for like a signing, and the person who sits next to us is the voice actor for Inosuke and Eren from Attack on Titan. Like,
I'm redefining my life goals talking to you.
I'm sorry?
I said I'm redefining my life goals.
You should! So we're sitting next to him, and I'm like, and Logan, who loves Attack on Titan and loves Demon Slayer, he's like, Mom, that's the voice actor. And they're literally like if you can picture like a popular roller coaster ride where they have all the gates, and it's like they have miles and miles and miles and miles waiting for this guy off to the side. Well, I'm like, hey, do you think you can introduce him to my son? I'm like, because he's right, he's right there, and they're like, oh yeah, he can go in line. I'm like, no, before it starts, just, and I never am the type to be like, pull rank or anything like that. So, and they're like, oh yeah, that makes more sense. Yeah, sure, go ahead. this man not only took pictures of my son, he spent 5 minutes doing different characters and their voices just for my son and all the characters my son loved. Like, he was such a nice
Wow.
man, and my son was just over the moon. Like,
Oh
I
my
mean, it was
goodness.
just such an amazing experience. But yeah.
Wow. It's
Yeah,
so
that is so cool. We're going to C2E2 uh, in a week, and our daughter is meeting the voice actors from Pokemon that do Ash and Serena, and she's got her cosplay all together, and she's
That's
so
amazing.
stoked.
That is amazing. Did you see Kaisen?
No.
You must see it. Like, it is so good. And I love Demon Slayer. I mean, I had my nails done with the characters from Demon Slayer when we went to see the movie. And we went dressed up. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, I was among my people. It was amazing. Loved Comic Con. And they were so good. They
wow.
paid for our flight, our hotel, our meals. I mean, they were just so nice. And everybody there is so nice. Like,
I'm
Did you ever think when you wrote your first book that would be you one day?
never. I just wanted to tell a story. I'm not a classically trained writer. I started writing May 1st, 2009, just to see if I could write a book. It was my dream just to get published. Everything that's happened has been, there's Chloe. Everything that's happened
Hi,
has been
Chloe.
beyond my wildest expectations and dreams. Like, I mean, and it keeps getting better. And I'm just so blessed and so thankful for the people who have followed me from the start, who follow me today, like, just recognizing who I am now, the people who have come in my life and just really guided me and, held me when I cried, because I had cried a lot. Yeah, it's great because when you write, if something doesn't work out, you can just rewrite the scene. In nursing, if something goes wrong, they can go really wrong. But it's still, publishing is a monster in itself, where, like, there's rules and, there's different expectations. So it can be very stressful, but everything that's happened, I'm just so happy and just blessed and just so thankful to everyone who read my
well,
stuff and just, took a chance on me. I'm just very grateful. So,
Well, would you tell us where we can find people? We'll put the links in the show notes as well, but tell us about where we can find you and what's going on, what's coming up next for you.
oh geez. Okay. So the best place to find me is on my website, which is cecyrobson.com.
But where can we find the cringe videos?
Instagram, TikTok. So yeah, you can think they're cringe. They're like, oh, you're too. I'm like, yeah, sure. But I've been published with Penguin and Random House. I just got my rights back for those books. So I'm actually looking for a cover artist so I can re-release those on my, independently now. But so it's great to have the rights back for that. So that's coming. They have to be reformatted. I mean, I have to be updated. Like, something that happens in Seal with a Curse, where she's like, no, and one of the books is like, well, let's download this, flashlight app. Well, no one has to do that anymore. They come with
Right.
our but, like, certain things they need to, like, there's certain things we don't say anymore. That I have to change
I
a
do
little
remember
bit.
the flashlight apps. I
Yeah,
remember a
exactly. So,
flashlight
like,
app.
I still have to go through them. So that's coming. I'm reworking Death Maiden, which is the second book in the Bloodguard series, because I got some feedback on it. Red Tower is releasing amazing books, lots of them. But the thing about Red Tower, it's become this huge success. I just feel like there's just so much happening at once. Like, you kind of have to get in line. So I'm just revamping Death Maiden Sam, and I'm just like, okay, so hopefully I'll get a release date soon. And there's also another project another series that I'm hoping to share good news on first. But very soon. So there's a lot going on, and I went on a European tour this past November. I hope to continue, and once everything starts releasing the way it's gonna release, I'm hoping to return to Comic-Con and all the other, like, Romantasy Con and all these book sellers where they've been positively amazing to, be around. So that's kind of
Hey.
what's happening. Just a lot, but
Well,
very little I can talk about right now.
yes. Well, very exciting to get your rights back and to be able to release them. Very, very T Swift. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, Cecy, thank you so much for joining us, for being on our podcast. And before we leave, tell us, if there's anything that we as readers can do to help support causes that are important to you.
Well, especially with what's going on in today's political environment, I would love any support that can be given either through time or through donations to go to the National Immigrant Justice Center. It's an important cause, and it's a national um, window, so it covers multiple states and it can reach out and help different people throughout the United States. So
That's
that would be
awesome.
great.
Well, again, thank you so much for everyone at home. That's it from us. Leave us a comment, drop us an email, let us know what you thought. And remember, we love you. Stay out of the clouds, off the ice, and come back to us. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.